Hey guys, it's Miranda here at Sunshine and Grace, and today we are finally doing our tutorial for our trifold file folder journal that you guys asked me to do a tutorial for there last week. I am just now getting around to it. I'm sorry, it took me a while, but you guys remember the beautiful blessings, butterflies, birds, flowers, and bees one I did last week, where you just have the flap and then it's got a built-in pocket and the journal. What you're going to need is obviously a file folder, patterned paper for your signature. I have that over here. It needs to be the length, like the way it's just this tall. You know, like regular copy paper. Take it and, oh man, that's gorgeous. Okay, fold it in half, and then you cut it to 5 3/4 of an inch. So you'd fold it in half and cut it like right there. And that'll make the size papers that you need to go in this little file folder, like that. Okay, I've already got a signature made, and it's punched. But I changed out one of the papers in it and put this paper that matched these papers inside there. So we still have to punch it again to get that hole punched. So we're going to lay that aside because it's all clipped and I don't want it to mess up. You're going to need some lace and ribbon embellishments. That's all over to the side. And ribbon for the tie closure, or lace, or whatever you want to tie it up with. Needle and thread to sew. Here is my needle. I am sticking it on some magnets over here because I'll lose it if not. And thread, which is embroidery floss to sew it up with. Washi tape, that's all over there. And some ephemera for the pockets when you go to decorate it. We're not doing that on camera. Okay. Then you'll also need your basic supplies of a hole punch and crocodile pokey tool, whatever. Something to make a hole with. Scissors, paper trimmer, scoreboard and ruler, or ruler. I'm using a scoreboard. And then your glues. So we have Scotch Create, Art Glitter Glue, and our Beacon 3-in-1. Those are the glues that we're using. That's basically it. So I'm going to move this over to the side, let you guys get a screenshot. And I'm going to move that out of my way. And we're going to lay these papers. Most of the papers are pre-cut. I still have one piece to cut. And I did that to save time and because my end is not cooperating very well today. So anything I could do to make this process easier, I was going for it. Okay, we need our cutter and our file folder. We want our file. Not only is my hand not working well, but my mouth isn't either. Our file folder needs to be 6 inches. I want the tab to be, you know, folded on the front. So I want this big tab to be part of my flap. So I'm going to cut it right there at 6 inches with that tab facing that way, and the spine of the file folder against my straight edge here. That'll ensure the straightest cut, which will help here in a minute when you go to put your folds in. Okay, you can lay that part to the side. You don't need it right now. You can use that to make tags and ephemera later if you want. Okay, and move our cutter to the side. Grab my scoreboard, which is tangled up in things, and bring it into frame. I have trouble with my scoreboard seeing it, so I have to turn it sideways. I can't make out the numbers if I don't. Okay, grab my little poker tool that I use to trace along those lines. Okay. You're going to push it in, and on this back, you want to fold it this way. You want to fold it the wrong way is what you're wanting to do. Okay? So that the front is actually the right side up, and you're going to score it right on the 6. Can you see that 6? I marked these with marker inside there, but I don't know that it's still showing. Oh, my cat is It's absolutely psychotic tonight. Okay, now fold it this way. And you're going to not mark this at 6. Because if you mark it at 6, it's literally just going to be even with the line you just made, which makes it really tight and hard to fold. You're going to make it the line past 6. So make sure you're up against the back. This part's a little fiddly. There's 6. We don't want that. We want the one right next to it. 6 and whatever that is. And mark it right there. Okay. Now you'll see why we did that here when we take this out of the way. Let's pop that out of the way. Hopefully the cat doesn't come through and destroy it. Okay. The reason we did it that way is because we want a gap so that when we fold this pocket in, bone folder that, let's make it straight and tight. Then when you fold your flap, you're going to have room for the journal that you're going to put inside there. See how there's that little bit of a gap right there? That will give you room for your journal so that, you know, if you've got like things sticking out, it doesn't squash it. Okay. And there's that. That is the main part done. Now, I have cut all of the pieces except for one. I did not cut the inside pocket yet because it's very complicated, basically. So what I do, I hate having to do it this way. I'm going to have to take my cutter, and I want that little girl to show on the pocket. So I'm going to need to cut, and you can kind of see, I was already playing with it. There is a light mark there. That is kind of where I'm needing to trim this down a little bit so that then I can line it up and show you my trick to get that straight, that crazy edge cut. So that's basically just like 1/4 of an inch off of it. Okay, that's, yep, pretty good. Okay, now we're going to bring this in and line it up on the edge and just tuck it down in there. See if we want to take a little more off. I think we do because I want more of that flower to show. So I'm going to bring it just, you can see I played with marks there. So there's another one. I'm going to trim that one instead. I couldn't tell until I actually held it inside where it needed to be. So, and basically what we're going to do with this one is it's just going to kiss up against this track to take just the smallest amount off. See, that's just a little sliver. And save those. Those make really cute flowers and like side decorative things. Okay, now line it up again. You're going to take and grab your pencil because you can see it fits down in there pretty nice now. So tuck it as tight as you can get it. And then what you're going to do is you're just literally going to trace that edge. And I do mark this edge here too. And I will usually go over that a couple of times to make sure that I got that curve right, and this one, because I have trouble with the curves sometimes. Okay, and since we're going to cut inside that line, you won't see that, because again, we want to leave that 1/8 of an inch or so that I cut on all the other papers. So how I do that is, for the straight lines, like the straight edge there, you're going to take, and the line is right there, which is literally lined up right under the guide wire here. I'm going to bring that line over and let it just kiss up to the edge of that track, and that gives me about 1/8 of an inch off. And you can kind of see the line right there. Okay, now the rest of this is going to be a little harder because I actually have to use scissors, and as I said, my hand is not playing nice tonight, and I am really having a hard time seeing it. Okay. I'm going to have to lay that down and retrace that. I cannot see it. Let me do it this way. Let me fold it this way. Tuck it in backwards. Because it'll still come out exactly the same. Okay, I'm going to move that in the center so you can see how I'm doing this. I just turned it upside down, the paper upside down, and folded the flap backwards. And that lets me trace it on the back where I can see it easier. Because I was having a really hard time there making it out. Okay. And I'll erase that stray pencil mark. Okay, there. Get that off of there. There's Miss Phoebes. We're just jumping up to say hello. Okay. Now, what I do is I like to have the line on the left side where I can see it the easiest. And I just come just right inside it. I'm going to have to hold the scissors really still and just turn the paper because, yeah, just it'll be easier to get it straight. Okay. I'm sorry, this is a little bit slow today. Okay, I do not like to cut with scissors. Okay, it's pretty good. I'm just double checking to make sure there's no stray marks on it. No, that was folded like that. Okay. We're going to take and ink this because it's not the greatest cut in the world, but it's not the worst cut in the world either. Ink will hide a lot of ills. So how is everyone today? I hope you guys are doing good. I am hanging in there. It is, my husband's off tomorrow. Yay. We're kind of glad about that. But then he has to work Sunday, so yeah. That's not his usual schedule, but that's his new summer schedule. Well, yeah, basically that's his summer schedule. From now on, he'll be off on Friday and Saturday for a few weeks. Okay, so that fits that. You can see that fits in there pretty good. All right, we're going to take the rest of our pages, our pieces, and we are going to put this puppy together. Now, I labeled the backs of all of the pieces so that I would know where they went when I was cutting them. Because I need to round the corners on the bottom of this. Okay, and this. That's why this corner looked so weird to me. Okay, there, that's better. Could I possibly... let's just see if we can snip. That's got like one little sharp edge to it that I do not like. Okay, that'll do. So this one has an F on it, which tells me it's a flat piece. And so is this. So I just have to decide. Let me find my cover. This is the cover. It normally has a C. This is the back. I just cut it out a few minutes ago. This one was the inside back. I think this is the cover. Yeah. So here's the cover piece. Let me see which way it goes. I think it's like that. The check goes down the side. Okay. So I think I'm going to want that piece there and put this piece on the inside flap. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to take our Scotch Create glue stick and go all around as close to the edge as we can get without getting off of the paper, and then in the middle. And then we'll run a little tiny bit of art glitter glue around the edge just to make sure it seals down tight. I've been doing that lately, and it really helps me not get glue all over my mat and make sure that there's not going to be any liftage later on. So I just take and run a really thin bead right along that edge, and then I'm sorry, I do not have I can't push on that today, squeeze it real hard, so try to pokey tool it. I may have to do that several times before I get all the pieces glued. Okay, and I can see I did not get very much of the Scotch Create up there, so we'll put some more up there. Okay. Pick it up, lay it on your piece. Don't push your edges down, because once that Fabri-Tac or the art glitter glue hits, you can't really move it. But before that, when it's just the Scotch Create, you can kind of give it some wiggling and get it to move. Okay, and then just bone folder those edges to spread that glue and get a good firm, tight seal. Okay, that is gorgeous. Now we're going to do this piece that goes on the front. You can see the F on there. I pretty much do get to the edge doing it this way with the Scotch Create, and even sometimes go off of the edge by accident because I'm not very good at the control today. But it's okay. I've made 4 of these today to make sure that I knew how to explain it for the video, because I don't usually do full journal tutorials in one shot. I may do them in pieces, where I show you like a piece here and a piece there, put it together. But I don't usually do this full-blown deal like this in one swoop. So I'm a nervous wreck. And you line your thing up where you want it. Now, this one was left deliberately a little bigger than the example that I showed you, because I did want it to be that, I wanted to get as much of that background. I like that. I didn't know if that would be inside or out, but okay. So there's our front, all done. Now we're going to put our piece on the inside. I should have laid a book or something down, because I'm getting glue everywhere. Oh well, what's new about that, right? That's pretty much every time I glue. Now I can already see that I'm going to want to remember that the tab goes towards the bottom of my journal, because I'll be very tempted to mess this up. That thing on my bank statement or bank card check thingy there goes up, and my butterfly needs to go up as well, because that butterfly was why I picked this piece, to use it all. Okay, let's get, you want to make sure you don't actually get on that crease here, so do not let the sides touch until you get that done. Okay, I didn't get it off of that quick enough. There, it's a little tight to the edge, but I think it'll be okay. All right, there's that. And we're going to put our pocket piece that we just cut on. So what is everyone's plans for the weekend while we work on this? Yeah, let's talk about that. Me, I plan to not do a whole lot of anything. It's supposed to snow tomorrow. Can you guys believe that? I mean, we're in Kentucky. We're in the South, sort of. Barely, but, you know, we consider ourselves Southern, and I am so over the snow that it is not even funny. Okay. And the reason that I do this, flipping it out like this, is so that I don't get glue anywhere that I don't want glue, in case that art glitter glue touches something that I did not want it to touch. Okay, that looks pretty good. So I'm thinking that we're just not going to do a whole lot of anything tomorrow. And then Sunday, obviously, if Lane's at work, we won't be doing anything that day either. Okay, so I'll probably spend the day working on some things in the studio that I've been meaning to get done and putting off. And I have a new digital kit that I started working on last night. I just literally have the very first, not even like, I wouldn't even call it a page. I have an idea that I'm just like laying down some colors for right now. But I might work on that some. And I have 2 or 3 journals that I've started and not finished. And I want to get those made and then get some pictures taken for my Etsy shop and that kind of stuff. So that's probably what most of my weekend's going to consist of. Okay, I went off the edge too much. It's okay though. He's fine. I love these little birds. You got to be kidding me. Okay, you guys are going to have to hold on while I unhook from the microphone and go grab that. Because, of course, it fell where there's no hope of me reaching it without getting up. It's okay. I can let that dry for a second. Isn't that pretty? All right. Hang on. Be right back, you guys. Okay. Now, I have to decide, do I want this little girl inside or this little girl inside? Decisions. I think I'm going to put this one inside because I may make some kind of a pocket right there. And that would allow for that. Then I'll put the other one on the back. Okay, we are almost done with the bulk of the hard part of, we'll have to punch holes in the journal itself too. I didn't realize that. I basically just took the signature out of the one I did earlier because I didn't want those pages in that one. I just made sure that I had it lined up and stuff to make sure my sizes were all right. So, that hand is just not obeying. Like it's got a mind of its own sometimes. It's been like weird pins and needles all day. Okay. Oh, we lined up pretty good. Come down a little bit. Okay, yeah. Make sure you get all your edges down tight. See to see if that top was down or not. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's a little long. That's okay. Once you get the journal pieces in, you won't really see that. So I may put some lace along that top or something instead of a pocket at the bottom. There's a spot that doesn't look like it's going down tight. There, it's finally down. Okay. Now, normally I would go ahead and glue this, but I want to sew this later. So I'm not going to glue it, but what you would do is you would put glue here and glue here if you wanted to be, if you didn't want to sew it, and glue that down. If you want to sew around these pieces, you need to sew this flap and you need to sew the front first and then glue it, okay? For obvious reasons, you're going to sew the pocket shut if not. Like, you know, you would, I guess you could do it. You can't sew this is what it is if it's closed. Yeah, I knew there was a reason, but yeah. trying to remember that reason was not working. Okay, here's our last piece to glue on. And you cut all of them the same way I showed you on the little pocket, but you don't really have to mark it as detailed as I did. You can just mark a little piece on the back at each edge where you want your piece to be, and then bring it up to that edge and let it kiss the cutter track, and it'll give you the margin that you know, that little lip around where the file folder shows. It'll give you that. All right, come up, come up, come up, don't drop. Now for this back one, it is cut just slightly skinnier because I may decide to run a piece of lace or washi along that. So sometimes on the back side, I'll actually put the bubbly piece there and use the little piece in the front. I don't always do that. That's just something I may do, so I allow for that because I don't mind that little edge if not. Okay, you have everything on. Now let's get our signature. Oh, you guys, I am telling you, it is not my day. And bring out our big bite. Okay, make sure that our signature is lined up good. Open our notebook or our journal. Okay, you want to put your signature right there. So line it up, get it so that the crease is in the crease, and then clip it. And I usually try to make sure that it's down tight. And then I will, I fold it a little bit to clip it on that second side because I feel like it gets a tighter fold. All right, now here's the trickiest part of all, me getting holes in the right spot. I have this set on 1/8 of an inch to make tiny holes. I just want to, hopefully all my holes line up. Okay, punch it, come to the middle hole, punch it. I can feel that it's going in the right spot, so. Okay, holes. We have that, we don't need it right now. That was the hard part. That's always the part I have the most trouble with, is getting my holes punched. Okay, when you have your, whatever thread you're going to use, I'm using 3 colors of embroidery floss because I think it's pretty. You want it to be 3 times the length of your spine. Okay, and now I just measure off of this one. And if like where that's ugly, I'm going to cut that off. All right. This was the only pink I had. So, okay, and we're just doing a simple 3-hole pamphlet stitch, which is, sounds complicated and stuff when you say that, 3-hole pamphlet stitch. First time I heard that, I was like, what? This is so easy, you guys. Okay, start in the center of your book, inside. Or if you want to tie it on the outside, start on the outside. Go through it. Come down to the bottom hole, through that. Up through the top hole, you come up the middle on the inside. Okay, now pull your string this way. Hold those little puppies down. Come back to that back hole, which is nowhere near my spine, of course. And you want to bring it out on the other side of that thread that you ran up the middle. Okay, and then you just adjust them so that the ties in the center are pretty much even. Give a tug this way, give a tug this way, and make sure you're tight and firm. And just tie it in a square knot, like that. And if you feel like it's not secured, do a third one. Like that. Okay. And leave those for now. Get these things out of your way because they're annoying. And you basically have your journal done, okay? We're going to do this doohickey to make sure that spine stays down. And I may take that third knot out because I don't like the way it's making it lumpy. And then we're going to take some washi and put here. Let's see. Think of this. Now, I don't cut it or anything. I literally just kind of eyeball, get it lined up kind of where I want it. And then I tear it just a little shy of where I think it needs to be. And then I run it over the Scotch-Crate glue stick to make sure that it'll stay stuck, because I don't want you lifting. Okay. There's that. And we repeat on the inside, cover. And if you don't cut out the pocket edge, like detailed like we did, you can also do the washi on it. But this time I felt the desire to actually shape that bad boy, which is not normal for me. I'm never going to understand why that was such a thing I had to do, but it was. I mean, like, I was like, no, I have to do that. Didn't have to cut the other pieces shaped. Why can't I seem to get that towards the end? That's too close to the end. Okay, it's just going to have to do. All right, so there's that. Now, this is why I said we may use lace on the spine. If I make a little faux pas when I am punching my holes, I got them nice and straight though, did you see that? Then I will take lace and run along the spine to hide that. Or washi tape or whatever. Actually, washi tape. We're going to use this wide washi. That is really pretty. It's a little more opaque. Okay. And just tear it. Again, you want to really get that glue on there from the glue stick. So I push pretty firm, and then I usually run back the other way to make sure I've got it good. Okay. We're just going to line that up on there. You can see it's, then you just take and fold it down. voila. Stitches that did not go where they were. Holes supposed to be are well hidden now. Okay. So you would obviously have that to stick stuff in. You have all your pages inside that you could decorate. Like you could take lace and run down the edges. I have no idea how I'm going to even use this, so I'm not doing any of that right now. Actually, I would probably run a piece of lace down that bad boy, so we're going to do that because that contrast is just, yeah, popping for me right now. And I use my Beacon 3-in-1 or Fabri-Tac or Fabrifix. They're all the same basically. I've used all three. I can't tell a bit of difference. Some people say there's a difference. I'm like, yeah, I don't see it. If it sticks and stays put, that's really all I'm concerned with. Okay, so there. Lace down. Boom. Isn't it so pretty though, the contrast? Oh, loving that. Okay. Then what I was wanting to show you is this is the page that I put in that was just the same paper that we used to decorate a piece of it. And then back here we have a coffee filter folded to make a pocket. And then we have a book page that is a book that I really went wild with using a stencil and some alcohol inks to, I'm going to have to pick that knot out. That's just too big. To pattern the paper, because this is paper that I don't like to use just by itself. I like to do something to it because it's not a book that it's just not a vintage book or anything. It's just a cheapo book. I don't know where it came from even. But what we're going to do is to make a double pocket here, we're going to take and glue the edge right here and here of this coffee filter down. Just, I don't want to go very far up that edge, just a little bit. And just a little bit right here. Okay. And you just lay that down. And then you have a little tuck spot there too. You'll do the same on the other side. You could even just do the bottom, but where that kind of rounds there, I feel like that helps the bottom hold secure. And I want just a little more glue. Okay. And just lay that down. Flip it over. That one needs folded out still. That didn't line up the way I wanted it to. That's okay. That's actually probably because of the fold. Okay. Here's the rest of the pages. And here is the back where I said I wanted to put some lace up top. I'm thinking maybe this. Something soft and pretty. Something in my way. And for this one, I'm literally just going to use the barest amount of glue. And then I'm going to take my finger and smooth it out a little bit because this is such a delicate lace. And then, of course, we're not just using this lace the way it is. You'll see what we're going to do with it. Okay, it might be a little long. I might need to trim it some more. Or we could just smush it a little bit to give some ruffle edge to it. Okay, then get that pressed down. My finger is a little sticky, so what I'm going to do to make sure that presses is take my bone folder and press along it, and that will adhere it without getting your fingers too sticky. Then I want to take, trying to decide, I think this one. Let me get the blue ribbon off there that I tie these up with. And I want to see what this looks like. I think that might be too much. Let me get the other one. I just wanted some pink lace to lay along it. Can you even see that though? feel like this one's too big. But I feel like the other one didn't even show up. Dilemmas. I think it'll be this one. I may not take it all the way to the edge. Okay. Then you just run your glue down through there. Try not to get glue everywhere like I just did. I think this is the front. Okay, and then just press that in there. Get it sort of stuck, and then bone folder it down. Okay, there we go. Now, I think that needs a piece of bling. I think my bling is in this. Ooh, or does it need these? Yeah, let's go with those. Okay. What we're going to do is just put a little bit on each of those points. Try not to get it everywhere. That'll flatten down. Now, once this is dry, sometimes these little drops, like liquid pearls, or these are Nuvo drops, they can be they can stick to the paper. But if you take a little bit of, like, I use hand lotion, just the tiniest little dot. It's coconut oil based, and I just put a little bit on my fingertip and run right over the top of those once they're dry. They won't stick to the page, but they also don't leave an oily finish. Okay, so we're done for now because that needs to dry. And that is basically it, you guys. You just decorate your pages and finish it off however you want because you have got the bulk of it done. So just remember, when you're doing your pieces, let me grab a piece of paper to show you how I would do it. I would lay it so that it lines up with the edges. It would be upside down. But you would make a mark here and a mark wherever the edge here is. And then you would go to your cutter and you would just cut, just line those up with your middle and then push them over just a hair. And that'll give you the margin that you need. It's literally just to the side of the track. That mark, okay? So, oh, that about spilled, and that would have been bad. Would have been needles all over the room. Okay, I think we're done. I think it turned out really cute. I'm excited about it, and I can't wait to finish it off. Some of the projects that I make to put inside it, I'll probably I may, like some of the things that we make in the next couple weeks, if I put them in this journal, I will show them to you in the journal because it's the one we made together. I know the next project that we're going to be making Monday, the Mass Make Monday, is going to be a decorative strip, and that I will be using in here. That is one of the reasons I made sure to leave that little gap, is to allow for that once the pages are in. Because you can see there's already a gap between the pages and the edge. Well, you want a little more because things can kind of spread that way and get chunky. So let me know what you think of these. This is the first time I've done like a full journal tutorial. So I was a little nervous, a lot nervous actually. And that's probably why this is a little awkward and weird. And I apologize in advance for that. But hopefully next time I do one, it'll be a little smoother and I won't be so nervous about it because it was it seemed like a big undertaking, you know, like a full, big, huge project. Done a lot of flip throughs though, and I sometimes explain the process in those. So I shouldn't be nervous, but yeah, I was because I'm like that. So anyways, I want to say thank you to all y'all for watching and commenting to suggest I even do this because it was something that I'd been toying with, but I wasn't sure anyone wanted to see it. So thank you very much. And for all of you who watch the videos, thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate all the comments. I love talking to y'all. And if you are already subscribed, thank you so much. If you are not, and you want to see more videos like this showing you junk journal projects that are easy, usually not this awkward, but I try to do them with easy to make the process as easy as possible, and to use items that you already have on hand or that are economical to get. And I do mention the items that I use so that you can find them. And if it's something that I have an Amazon link for or a scrapbooking.com link for or something like that, I will link it down below for you. I do get a small commission from that, but it doesn't cost you guys anything extra. And I will do the legwork to find the cheapest price for you too, the best value. So, those links are in the description box. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell to get notified when I bring out another tutorial. And before I go, I want to remind you all that Jesus loves you so much He died for you. If you have not trusted that fact, then I urge you to do so today, because nobody's promised the next second. Whether you know it or not, you're going to live forever, either upstairs or down. Trust me, you want to go up. So if you've not trusted the gospel of your salvation, how that Jesus Christ died on the cross for your sins, was buried and rose again the third day for your justification, then I would urge you to do so today. And just let me know if you have any questions about it, because, I want you all to just get you settled right now for all eternity, because, you never know when your moment's up. So drop a comment below or look me up on Facebook or Instagram and Pinterest. It's Miranda McCulley or Sunshine and Grace JJ or journals. If you got any questions about anything at all, the projects I make, your eternal state, or you just want chit chat, or you want to ask for prayers or whatever, y'all just let me know. It'd be my joy to do so. Y'all have a great day, and we'll chat soon. Grace and peace. Bye-bye.